We're joined now by Regan Smith. Regan drives the number 7 TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet. He will compete in the NASCAR Nationwide Series 32nd Annual VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero 200. He is currently second in the Nationwide Series points. Regan, this is your 6th start in the Nationwide Series at Darlington, so you're getting to that point where you're kind of a Darlington veteran. How's that experience help you as you go through the years?
I don't know, because it seems like no matter how many starts you have, you still find your way to the fence at some point or another throughout the course of the weekend. So I think more than anything, just the first laps on the racetrack, it gives you that confidence going out there, knowing where you need to be on the track, knowing where you want your car to work at and what you want it to feel like as it's doing it, more so than anything. But, outside of that, this place has really been changing a lot here, especially these past couple of years with the new pavement and it getting more and more weathered. It's getting back like the Darlington of old, when we all remember watching the videos of the tires just getting chewed up like they were crazy and like they're just falling apart. We're not quite there yet, but it's getting closer. So I'll be curious to get out there today and see what that's like. I know last year it took a lot of rubber. Goodyear brought a really good tire, and the track took a lot of rubber, which was nice. It seemed like it helped the groove move around just a little bit throughout the course of the weekend. I remember in the Cup race even being down on the bottom through turns 1 and 2 at one point. So, looking forward to seeing what it is and figuring out what we need our cars to do.
Go ahead and open up for questions for Regan. Kenny right here.
You guys are overachieving being here so early. Holy smokes.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Regan, how is racing here different for a driver as opposed to somewhere else? I mean, is it just like any other race, or is it really different out there on this track?
No, it's really different. I mean, I talked to Claire last night about this on the radio, and it's kind of a cliche that we say you race the racetrack, and you hear everybody say that, and sometimes that's overused, but at the same time, no, it isn't, because that's what you do. You don't really focus on the other cars as much. You don't focus on what other guys are doing. You really work hard on getting your car good. Your car's got to be really comfortable, really stable, and underneath you to run the lines that we have to run here to be quick. And you just got to focus on keeping your car in one piece. I know, the year that we won the Southern 500, the only thing we did when we started that race was said, okay, let's go out and run 80% all night long until the last 20, 30 laps. And we'll see where we are the last 20, 30 laps, and then run 100% from there on out. And, by doing that, there was not a mark on that car until I think the last lap of the race. I caught the wall off of turn 2 just a little bit. But there was something to be said about that, because my car was still intact. It was still, the side was still like you want it to be. It still got all the side force built into it. Now, I say that, and I've watched Kyle Busch hit the wall here hard enough where it should have parked the car and go out and still win the race. But that's a rare oddity that happens. And I think the year that he did that was the first year of the COT, and those cars were like tanks. They just didn't seem to get affected by damage at all with the wing back there. But the guy whose car is still in one piece and it still resembles what it needs to resemble at the end of the race, seems like he's always got quite a bit of speed here. And you let the other guys make the mistakes. You don't make the mistakes yourself. You focus on maybe just tuning it back just a notch more here than you would even at other places, and focus on getting your car just driving as good as you possibly can, so you can run out right up on the wall all night.
Right here in the front.
Kind of Gaspery News 13 in Myrtle Beach. Because of the fact that you got the big win here a couple years ago, how special is this place to you? How much do you enjoy coming back here each year?
Well, I love coming here. It's one of those places. I enjoyed coming to Darlington before the win. I like the style of racing here. I like the idea of having to go out and focus just a little bit harder, think just a little bit more, and not necessarily just go out and run qualifying laps every lap. I like that type of racing, and for whatever reason, it always suited me good, coming here, and whether I was in cars that weren't as good at the time, it seemed like we always raced a little better than we would other race weekends. And, then you fast forward to the Cup car, and it just seemed like every year we came here, we were in position to have a good top 10 finish. And then the year when we were able to put it all together and win the thing, makes this track have even more meaning to me, and makes it even more special yet. And I grew up watching the Southern 500s. You see all the old-timey racing videos and racing clips of the 60s, 70s and stuff, and it was just nuts what guys were doing here back in the day, and the grandstand over there that had the cover off of what was, I guess, turn 4 at the time with the covered grandstand. I mean, that thing was legendary. It reminds me of something that you'd see at a Wrigley or a Fenway Park, something along those lines.
Chris?
ChrisKnight.com. Regan, last weekend was a big weekend for Junior Motorsports, but it's been a stupendous season for the company as a whole. Can you talk about what the atmosphere has been like at the shop, and have you talked to Chase, really just between the two of you since Texas, and what it's been like, and given him any pointers for Darlington this weekend?
Well, to answer your first question, the atmosphere of shop has been great this year. You know, as you would expect. I think as a company, we're doing what we anticipated we'd be capable of doing, coming off of last year, and you know, with what we were building on and what we learned last year, and the improvements that we made from start to finish last year. So it's been a really good attitude. I don't know that it's not surprising us. We expected it of ourselves, and we expect the company to run this good. The 7 team in particular, I feel like we've got a little bit of catching up to do still. It's a new bunch, a new group of guys, and we're still lacking just a little bit of where we want to be week in and week out. Last week was a good step forward for us. That was, one of our more solid races of the weekend or of the year. And, barring a 3-wide restart at the end there, probably could have ended up 4th or 5th, somewhere around there. So, but as a whole, the company's really taking steps forward and making great progression. And there's still more we can do. We can still learn more. We can still get better and continue to improve on things. As for Chase, I haven't talked to him since I saw him in Victory Lane last weekend. I went to congratulate him. Obviously, I saw him on pit road, but made a point to go congratulate him and all those guys in Victory Lane, a lot of which I worked with last year. There's, a good portion of that team that I'm pretty close to and I know really well, through the season last season. And that was cool for them. That was special for Chase. And certainly I think Bill and Cindy were both there. So that was a cool family moment for them to have and to get to enjoy. And, his dad was one of the best at this racetrack. So I don't think he's going to have too many questions for me this weekend.
On a follow-up on that, it was Junior Motorsports ran 4 cars last week, and that was a big undertaking for you guys as a whole. I talked to Kelly Earnhardt-Miller this week, and she said the same thing. Is it the plans for you guys to maybe do another 4-car race again, or was that just a one and done because of Dale Earnhardt Jr. running the Texas race?
I don't have that answer. I would anticipate, it looked really good, and obviously with all 4 cars running as well as they would, you think, oh yeah, let's just go do it all the time. But that's a tough feat. You got to really staff up a lot of people and do things a lot differently. We pretty much cleared the shop out to do that last week of personnel. And, to my knowledge, that's the only race on the schedule where that happened. And it just, the way that the sponsorships and the partners fell and which races, certain companies wanted to be a part of, that's just how it worked out. Now, that'd be a good question to ask Junior, not me. He can probably answer that better than I can.